Hello crafty friends, do you have a tool or supply in your stash that you really feel like you should use more often? If you do, then I'm going to set you a challenge. Grab that supply or tool and craft as many things as you can think of with it. The tool in my stash that I would really love to use more and have no idea why I don't because I love it so much is stamping foam. So I set myself a challenge today of finding as many things as possible to use with stamping foam. So I went around my craft room, I went around my house, I went into the garage, which is my husband's domain, and I found lots of things to use with my stamping foam. So in today's video, I'm going to show you what I did with my stamping foam. And in my next video, I'll make some cards using the backgrounds I created today. If you'd like to watch that, do subscribe and ring the notification bell. So stamping foam is a special type of foam. You can heat it, press it into something textured. The foam will take on that texture. You can then ink it up and stamp it down. And then when you've finished stamping with that particular texture, you can heat it again, the texture will disappear, and you can press it into something else. So it's a really fun way of making completely unique inky backgrounds. So for my first texture today, I did ribbon, burlap Hessian type ribbon. I put it on my grip mat just to keep it still, pressed it down onto the ribbon, then I inked it up with 2 shades of green distress oxide and pressed it down onto a piece of paper. Once you've stamped, if you find your first impression is a bit light, ink up your stamp again, spritz it or mist it rather with water and then stamp, and you get some lovely watercolory effects then. Here are 3 backgrounds I made with the ribbon and the green ink, and I really love this texture. It's really sumptuous. Next, I decided to try some buttons, and again I arranged these on my grip mat to keep them still. And I tried to choose buttons that were of similar depth, because when you're pressing down, if things are very different depth-wise, you're going to get good impressions of the taller things and not such good impressions of the smaller things. But these buttons did give me a really fun background. I used pink ink, I think this was picked raspberry, gave it a mist with water and then pressed it down. You have to be quite firm when pressing to get a good impression. I did ink this up again with picked raspberry, but then I also added a little edge of seedless preserves. I misted it again, and that created a slightly darker outside edge. For my third item, I took some rice from the kitchen. I put it on a bit of cardboard just so you can see what it looks like, but I also found it helpful just to shake the cardboard a bit. It helped the rice separate out into a single layer. After inking up my stamping foam with some bluey inks, I misted it with water and I got a beautiful image. Honestly, I can't wait to make some cards with these backgrounds. Household item number 4 was string. I just scrunched the string up on my glass mat, pressed my heated stamping foam into it and got 3 lovely impressions. Number 5 is foil. I scrunched up some kitchen aluminium foil, pressed my stamping foam into it. You might have noticed that I've mounted my stamping foam on an acrylic block. I find this just helps me to apply even pressure. I just use stick glue to adhere that. And I was so happy with the impression I got with this texture. It's absolutely gorgeous. I wasn't sure this next item was going to work, but I decided to give it a go anyway because you never know. And that item was bubble wrap. And I was so excited when I saw that impression. And when I pulled my first print, it was just stunning. I don't know what it is about bubble wrap, but I absolutely love it. I did spritz my block with water again and got a more watercolory effect. And I did it a third time without re-inking and got a very light, subtle effect. Next, I decided to press my stamping foam down into the fabric of my office chair, and this gave me a very small woven pattern. The first one I didn't mist. The second one I misted with water and got a bit of a darker impression with some watercolory splotches. Now these are washers that I got from the garage. I put them on the paper and gave them a bit of a shuffle so that they would form one layer. Some of the washers stuck onto the stamping foam, but not permanently, so I just picked those off. And I got a lovely grungy circle pattern there. I think I used Vintage Photo and Black Soot Distress Oxide. Again, I misted it without re-inking and got a darker impression, a more saturated impression. I also found some nuts in the garage. So I chose nuts that were all the same height, put them on my grip mat just to keep them still. And I got some great little hexagons with circles in the middle. And again, I inked these up with brown inks. And I think this would make a really lovely background on a card for someone who likes DIY and mechanics and nuts and bolts and things like that. So I've got varying shades of brown there, and that's with and without misting. I decided to do a little experiment next, and I took the nut stamp and I stamped it over one of the washer stamps, and that gave me quite an interesting look, a kind of layered look. So for number 10, I got some enamel dots. These are mini enamel dots, and I've used lots of them, but the pattern of the ones that remain on the plastic sheet is quite nice. And they gave me a fab dotty texture. I think the ink pads I used for this are a little dry, so I didn't get a very strong impression even when I misted it. So I think I need to go and re-ink those ink pads. So if you're finding you're not getting great results, maybe try re-inking your ink pads a bit. Next, I tried some lace. This is just craft lace. Again, I put it on my grip mat to keep it still. Got a great impression. Stamped it once without misting with water, inked it up again, stamped it and misted, and then pressed it down. And I think that's really pretty and delicate. So I had a rummage through my wood veneer and found some flowers and butterflies. Again, I put them on my grip mat to keep them still. It's just really helpful because when you're applying a lot of downward pressure, you can, if you're doing it on something like a glass mat, slip around a bit and you might not get the kind of pressure or impression that you're wanting. So I decided to ink my stamping foam up this time using finger daubers so I could more accurately place my colours. You can also use blending brushes on stamping foam. Once I'd finished with the finger daubers, I misted it, stamped it, misted it again and stamped it again. So I got quite a bright impression and then a more subtle impression. For item 13, I chose coins. These are Japanese yen that we brought back from our holiday. And this turned out beautifully. You can see the writing and the images on the coins in the stamping. For item number 14, I used elastic bands. I just threw a load on my glass mat, pressed my heated stamping foam down into them, and I really loved the impression I got with this one. It's so fun. Of course, in the craft room, there are all sorts of other tools you can use with stamping foam. For this one, I use my stencils. I put one on a grip mat. I think you get best results if you use quite thick stencils because you get a deeper impression then. So it's another way of using your stencils. Next, I pressed my heated stamping foam against the brickwork in my conservatory where I craft. And I don't think after stamping it you'd know it was brick, but it gives a really good impression. Of course, you can use die cuts with stamping foam. I made this faux embossing folder with chipboard die cuts, and I did that in a video earlier in the month. And this gave me some lovely hexagons in my stamping foam. Number 18 was tissue paper, and I got a great scrunchy stamped impression. "19 was another tool from my craft room, an embossing folder. This is a kind of stitchy knitting type pattern. Another way to use your embossing folders. You can use stamping foam with stamps, which sounds a bit odd. Why would you stamp a stamped image? But you get the inverse when you use stamping foam. So I've got a kind of polka dot stamp, but the stamping foam gives me the outside, not the dots, if you see what I mean. You can use dies too with stamping foam. You can use them cutting side up, and dies tend to give a really nice crisp image. You can also use dies the other way up, cutting side down, and you will get a different pattern that way. Like the washers, the die stuck to the stamping foam, but it's not stuck, it's just sitting on it, if you know what I mean. It's really easy to get off. So here you can see the two different effects you get when using the die different ways up. We're getting on to the scraping the bottom of the barrel things here, I think. But I tried a tape refill for my large tape runner, and this gave me a really fab impression. I was really surprised. Without misting, it was quite light, but once I misted it and I pressed down with the paper on top, I got a really good impression, and it looks almost like vinyl, I think, because you've got some grooves where the tape coils round. I did pop out into the garden and I found this fern frond. I think this could be one of my favourites, I think. I got some really great detail. So I inked it, I misted it, and then I put the paper onto the stamping foam, not the stamping foam onto the paper, and that allowed me to kind of push down and get all the detail of the stamp. So what are your underused supplies and tools in your craft room? Do let me know in the comments. Number 25 was small pots. I use these to keep my DIY embossing powders and DIY gilding waxes in. And these I put on my grip mat upside down because the bottom was more interesting than the top. And I got some great circles. Apologies for the beeping in the background. That's my pet frog singing again. Number 26, I used a comb. I think this would be fun, maybe if you know someone who's into hairdressing or something like that. You could try using tools and things that are applicable to the person you're thinking of giving the card to. And our last one, number 27, is a metal mesh. I actually pressed this into the side of a magazine rack that I use for storage in my craft room, and I really like this. I love a metal mesh. And so that was 27 things from my house, garden, garage and craft room used with stamping foam. So don't forget, in the next video I'm going to do some cards using the backgrounds I created today. I do hope you've enjoyed today's video and that you'll accept the challenge of using an underused craft supply or tool. If you do, then come and share some photos in my Facebook group, or you can post photos on my community tab here on YouTube via a mobile or tablet app. Right, I think that'll do for today. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you back here very soon for my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.